Shalom, shalom. This is Aharon David Ben Moshe, giving a report from Sion. Before I get started in this broadcast, I would like to first give honor to who honor is due. Ikad, Yishbarak Shimo, the consciousness of all sentient being and the uncoverer of all mysteries. Now, before I get started in the broadcast, I want to first introduce Malachi Ben Moshe's piece, which will embody a lot of the conversation about this broadcast that we will put forth.
As soon as the beat came on, my heart told my pen, come on. And I felt compelled to tell the greatest story you never told. As soon as the beat came on, my heart told my pen, come on. And I felt compelled to tell the greatest story you never told. About a wicked little boy who knew that he was cursed. He tried to save the world, so he hung himself at birth. But evil doesn't die, it often lives inside. Those with good intentions, you can see it in their eyes. See, it divided his mind, he thought he was doing good. Only heard bad, his whole perception was half. His whole conception was trash, he was fragile and glass. So is the cup half full or is it empty? He's just living in the world where you sent him, trying to figure it out. Why is it so hard? How can he win when he's losing you, God? He's just living in the world where you sent him. Don't know if the cup's half full or if it's empty. He can't figure out why it's so hard. How can he win when he's losing you? See, as soon as the beat came on, my heart told my pen, come on. And I felt compelled to tell the great story he never told. A story he never told about a wicked little boy who knew that he was cursed. He tried to spare the world of him and hung himself at birth. But oh, that evil didn't die. It went on to thrive round those with good intentions, all of those with good intentions, all the ones with good intentions who said they'd be by his side. Wiped his tears when he cried, swore they would ride and die. Yet they are still alive and they leaving. Always got excuses, always find reasons. They are so deceiving. Now he's all alone, roaming on his own. He wanders without a home, no family, his house is gone. No Casa Ohana gone. So he took that half of a cup and he drank it, shattered the glass of himself upon the pavement. Cause he's done asking, why is it so hard? He lost sight of himself and you can't win without God. He used to bleed at night, God save me. I broke the shell of myself that you made me. Please remake me. And I'll speak for you, God. Gave my life to him and now it just ain't that hard. It was so tough to believe that he's there. There's no evil, no bad, just God there. He looked at all that he made and he said it was good. So I gotta believe that it's there because God's fair. God's fair.
Now see, what that song embodied was the actual relationship that a lot of us around America, especially, some of us that went through slave trade, etc., have had. See, we've had this identity, you know, in a way stripping or taken away from us. Now here at Sion, we work hard to get that identity back. Now, of course, we wear this garb. But don't fool yourself. One thing for certain is that we recognize the slave trade, the effect and the scars it has held on the people. and we actively pursue to help people get out of the state that they're in by a conscious ascension. That's with the prayers, that's with the way of life, that's with the instructions that we get from Rebbe Moshe. Now recently, there was something very dramatic that happened. We had a person in which we have a lot of affinity for. This is Karma Feinstein. And what happened is she went to the UK. She went to the UK and she spread Zionism. And she was met on the post that she made, or the article that she actually put forth. People commented bashing everything that she tried to put together. She got 70 people together. They talked about Zionism, the idea of people returning to the land. And she was called all kind of names. You know, she was slandered because of the idea that Zionism carries currently. See, it carries this idea of the Western European Union. It carries this idea of exclusion. It carries this idea of it ain't white. It ain't right unless it's white. And this has been hard for the state of Israel to deal with. It's been hard for us in America to deal with, because a lot of us in America don't want to consider the fact that one day we'll have to move home. But this pain is totally understandable. We understand this pain. I understand this pain. So because of the pain and the pressure that's on us right now, we'd like to say something in terms of our view of Zionism. Now, in terms of Zionism in its current form, even with Max Meher Root, our sister company, or our sister in actually working towards bringing people together for the idea of establishing Yerushalayim in a physical capital. 3 pillars in which they do wholeheartedly. The 3 pillars are the spiritual or the integrity of the land, the importance of making Aliyah, and the gathering of the Jewish people. These are the 3 pillars. These are pillars that we respect. These are pillars that we agree with, but these are also pillars in order for us to move forward that we must expand on. Because spiritually, there is a draw towards not even dealing with the land of Israel when it comes to a lot of people in this country. A lot of us that went through this slave trade. So what I'm telling you now is, here at Congregation Yeshiva, what we are prepared to do is to give you instructions to set up new Yerushalayim wherever you are. Is this in harmony with scriptures? Yes, it is. First scripture I would like to bring up, Zechariah 4:6. See, what happened with our people in Israel who established the Jewish state is they took it by force. Now, this bothers a lot of us in America because we were brought here by force. We have this idea that it should be established spiritually, and this is absolutely correct. Now, we don't disagree with our brothers in Israel about how they went about getting their own. What I'll get into you, through to you here in a second, is the idea of us, no matter where we are, establishing our own spiritual Yerushalayim. But it says here in Zechariah 4:6, I spoke up, Shlika 4:6, and he spoke up and said to me, this is the word of Yohevavhe Hashem or Echad to Zerubbabel, saying, not by army, not through strength, but through spirit. And Yohevavhe Echad Hashem, master of legions, said, Yohevavhe Hashem, master of legions. And if you want to ask me about the name, you can write all kind of messages In commentary, I'll actually get into the name in which we employ also here in just a moment. But right there, it tells you that this is to be done not by army, not by strength, but through spirit. And this is what we employ and how we set up a Jerusalem situation here in the city of Kokomo, Indiana. Okay, the next thing is, can Jerusalem exist in a place that is not physical Jerusalem or not physical Israel? And for that scripture, I'll go to Isaiah chapter 65. Isaiah 65 verses 16 through 18. And it reads, Whoever blesses himself in the land that will bless himself by the God of truth. And whoever takes an oath in the land will take an oath by God of truth. In early travail will he have been forgotten and concealed from my eyes. For behold, I am creating new heaven and a new heavens and a new earth. The former events will no longer be recalled and will not be taken to heart. Only rejoice and be happy forever for what I am creating. For behold, I am recreating Jerusalem as gladness and its people as joy. For I will rejoice over Jerusalem and exalt my people, and there will no longer be heard in it the sound of weeping and the sound of outcry. So, right there we see the idea of Jerusalem being recreated or reestablished, and the idea of it not necessarily being a physical place. A physical place in terms of a place on the map that you can look to and identify with. We can also see this in Jeremiah 50:51. In Jeremiah 50:51. O survivors of the sword, go forth, do not stand still. Remember, Yohevavhe Echad Hashem from the distance, and let Jerusalem come into your heart. If Jerusalem is coming into your heart, then that shows that it's an idea as well. We can also see this in the physical, the actual, when we look in the book, if you look in the book of Kibra Nagas, in the book of Kibra Nagas, what you see is Solomon set up a spiritual capital in the land of Ethiopia. Now, his lineage reigned all the way from his time to 1974. So we see that they set up the king or the throne of David exactly where they were. And we're saying this: we currently have the instructions to aid you and to set this up where you're at. Now, one might say, how in the world can we do that? Have we set up what we claim to set up here and now? And this is what I will say. And this further goes to show that it doesn't matter what kind of garb you wear as well. I'll show this from a few years ago. A few years ago, what happened was we went in we actually got a call from Walmart. Now this is Walmart, the store, the corporation, etc. We worked through a food bank. And what this food bank did was they gave us, and I'll show you the picture, $12,500 in food. $12,500 in food to feed. And the whole time we were wearing African garbs, we weren't hiding our identity, In fact, we went up there like that with the idea of we're going to go up there, we're going to make sure they know who we are, what we represent, and we still going to be able to make sure that, you know, we receive what's ours. Now, that's not in hiding identity. That's not in chucking and jiving. That's not in acting as if we are someone that we're not. Now, this look right here is something we moved into once we moved into our rabbinical stage. Now, we are rabbis. Don't get us wrong. We're rabbis in training. We have a physical rabbi who went through the whole 9 yards. But if you look at that picture, we still established the idea of receiving money, funds, and goods, not hiding our identity. And we're saying that through the system that we employ, that you can do the same thing wherever you're at. You can meet 4 or 5 times and study Torah. You can read the Hebrew. You can see the online prayers that we have in which we're performing the sacrifices in Ivri. We learned Ivri. You can see us doing Neo-Hebraic Tai Chi. We learned ancient ways of exercise. Some of the same things that you may see from different communities around the country or communities around the world. So we're telling you, don't think that you can't set up this idea of Yerushalayim or God's presence reigning wherever you are. See, the idea of this video is our faces will be revealed. Now, I know that scripture in Psalms 83, verse 3, where it says the hidden ones. And what we're saying is, you don't have to be hidden. You don't have to be ultra aggressive. You don't have to be anything like that. You could just simply be yourself. Because the idea of most of us is simple. Is that it's not that we want to enslave the people that enslaved us. But the idea is to just have a simple place where we can establish our own. And there's nothing wrong with that. We can establish our own institutions. We can establish our own buildings, our own legacy as Jews, or if you want to call yourself a Hebrew Israelite, that's cool. People that follow this book. People that identify with this Tanakh. People that know that what their heritage is and who they are. You can come and you can do this. We done did it already. We feed just about as much or more than anybody in the city that we stay. We go into prisons and they establish the very standard that we set. If you go to Pendleton Prison right now on a Wednesday as a volunteer or as a guest, and you go back and you'll see that Pendleton has the same name as Congregation Yeshiva. You can go to Miami County Prison. You could go into the meeting rooms and they have established the star in their meeting room, the idea of Yerushalayim. You can go to Pendleton CIF. And you can see brothers bowing before every meeting on Wednesdays and on Fridays, establishing Yerushalayim where they are at. And that's just a few places. You see the same thing when you go to Newcastle. We got different communities around the country that are interested in this. And what we're telling you is simple. We're not trying to take your identity and smash it. We're saying wherever you're at, start to establish new Yerushalayim, and we actually have the instructions to make it happen. I'll go to one more verse before completely being done, and Hosea chapter 6. Verses 1 and 2. And they will say, come, let us return to Yohevafe, Echad Hashem, for he has mangled us, and he will heal us. He has smitten us, and he will bandage us. Then it talks about after 2 days or 3 days, he'll raise us up. Right now, it's time to be risen up, y'all. Be risen up where you're at. Establish Sion, Yerushalayim, where you're at. This is the idea, the current idea of Zionism. Let's do it. The last thing I'll say, only because I said that I will say something about it, and that is the actual name that we employ, which we'll find in Zechariah 14, verse 9. Hashem, Yohevafe, will be king over all of the land, and on that day his name will be one. He will be one, and his name will be Echad. Echad. So when you hear us say Echad, it just simply means one. And the thing about this idea is, another way to view it is to think globally. This is one globe. This is one home. This is, we are one people. But we express ourselves in different ways. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you need help to establish a community, if you're interested in establishing a community, if you're interested in establishing your new Yerushalayim where you're at, contact us. Facebook, YouTube, email. Some of you have our telephone numbers or know people that have our telephone numbers. Holler at us. Let's set this up. Time is now. It's time to establish Sion all across the globe and all across this nation. We can do it. Shalom, shalom. Signing off, representing Congregation Yeshivat Sion, Kokomo, Indiana, and extending the welcome to Bill. Amen.